What about, Gary Johnson now is going to seek the Libertarian ticket, and that's good because he can inject some good ideas there. But obviously, you would be a superstar if you ran. And I know the Libertarians now, have talked to you and said, well, seek it, because it comes out of the state level, obviously. But you're not going to be throwing your hat in the 2012 race, sir?
I don't think so at this time. I don't think that I'm mentally ready to seek the presidency at this point in time. I would still consider a VP shot. If somebody else, if Ron Paul or Gary Johnson or whatever, I would give that due consideration. But if I were to go for president, I like to ensure I go after it to win, Alex. And as a third-party candidate, it's very difficult to win when you have an incumbent. So 2016 suits me far better than 2012 does, personally.
Well, you're working out. You're in great shape, so we know you're going to be around then, Lord willing.
Well, we hope so, anyway. But anyway, Alex, again, I encourage all your listeners, if you truly want revolution and change in this country, there's only one candidate out there in the two major parties that's going to give that to you, and that's Congressman Ron Paul of Texas. I can't emphasize it more. And don't listen to mainstream media. Ron Paul is achieving huge success with mainstream media against him, the status quo against him, both parties against him. That has to tell the American people something. Because always remember, we're in the predicament we're in today because of the Democrats and Republicans. They cannot deny it. They've been in charge for over 100 years now. They are the fault. They are the problem. And the only way out of this problem is by electing someone like Ron Paul. He's the only way out. Any of these other guys, it's going to be business as usual, people. You're going to have the same government that you've had for the last 50 years if you elect anyone but Ron Paul.
Well, Governor, that's my final question that I wanted you to make a point on, and then I know you've got to leave us. We appreciate you coming on today right before you leave town. But looking at this, normally the so-called mainstream dinosaur media, who's been caught lying thousands of times and is totally discredited, could demonize somebody and it would work. But now, even with his son Rand Paul, the more they demonize, it actually helps them. And so the system's got to understand that this shows that the awakening, thanks to your work and Ron Paul's work and my work and many others, is really starting to have an effect. And so now the inventors of the internet have gone public and said, yes, this new bill, SOPA, does shut down free speech and selectively allows them to shut people down for no reason. And the government says they want Pentagon on the streets and to secretly arrest Americans. I mean, everything we've warned about is now manifesting, and that shows the system is panicking and taking that velvet glove off the iron fist. I mean, is it really, what is it like to have everything you've warned about now being vindicated and validated, Governor?
Well, it's not a good feeling. I mean, I like to know that I'm right, but I wish I was wrong.
I hear you.
I was completely wrong on this. But people need, again, I can't emphasize it enough. They're going, they passed this 1768 bill that you're talking about that's going to put American troops inside our country arresting people. Let's remember, every member of Congress, every member of the Senate and Congress and the President, including all of our military personnel now and before, we all have one thing in common. We all took an oath. And in that oath, we swore to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and today domestic. And I believe every one of these Republican candidates is opposed. If they voted for that bill, then they took a vote against the Constitution, and they should be impeached for it.
Well, I agree. They all supported it, even if they weren't in Congress, that they all said, yes, secretly arrest Americans. And then they had
not all of them. Believe it or not, Senator Al Franken of Minnesota in the tune of Paul Wellstone voted against it.
No, I mean, you're right. I was talking about of the Republican candidates, they all endorsed it except for Ron Paul.
Exactly. So if you people believe that are listening out there, believe in your Constitution, believe in your Bill of Rights, and you believe that these are the founding documents that our country should be based upon, every one of those candidates is a traitor for having supported a bill that will put American troops on the streets arresting American citizens.
And then you find out the whole Homeland Security situation is for the American people. Even the LA Times last week had the headline, TSA, not just for airports. And they said shopping malls, highways. They tripled their funding, Governor, and they said all 50 states, and they said you're going to get pat-downs, everything, Governor.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, if you know, if this ain't martial law being declared without officially declaring it, then I don't know what it is. And it's time for the people of this country to stand up and say no. And the only way, the best way of doing that right now is to elect Ron Paul president.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us. And I guess I'll talk to you when you get back from Mexico. Do you know when you're coming back?
Sometime before Memorial Weekend, if it goes according to schedule. But then again, Alex, I never live by a schedule down there.
I hear you. We'll give your lovely and wonderful wife, Terry, my best.
And best to you and your family, too, Alex. Have a great new year. And to everyone out there, chin up, keep the fight up. Let's take our country back, and we can do it with Ron Paul.
All right. God bless you, Governor. Take care.
Thank you, Alex. Bye-bye.
There he goes.